In this session, we're going to look at the multiple ways in which you can clock in and out of ClockIt, or the other terms that's being used today is clock in, clock out, punch in, punch out. All of them are the same, and we will go through each method of clocking in and clocking out, and I will also cover the pros and cons of each method, and I will very quickly show you an on-screen demo of how you can clock in and out. Let's jump right in. So there are 6 ways in which you can clock in and out of ClockIt, and the first one is the mobile apps for both iOS and Android. And then we have the web using any browser. It can be on Firefox, Safari, Chrome, any of the browsers that you may have. The third is we have Kiosk apps that runs on Apple iPads, on Android tablets, and also we have a desktop version that runs on Mac, Linux, and Windows. Another way to clock in and out is using our Slack integration, Microsoft Teams, and Google Chat. We have desktop apps for Mac, Windows, and Linux again. And the 6th method and the last one is the biometric device that we have that supports facial recognition, RFID, and fingerprint. It may seem like a lot, but I'll jump into each one of them. Typically, companies pick maybe 1 or 2 methods to clock in and out. Either if you pick any method, we sync the data across. Just to give you an example, you can clock in and out from mobile and complete it from the web. You can do it on the kiosk and then complete it on the mobile apps. It really depends how much of access you give to your employees and where they can clock in and out from. So let's jump into the next slide, which is the web clock in and clock out method. This works really well because you can use any browser like Chrome, Firefox, Safari, etc. You can simply just click on the punch in, punch out button to log in and out. It's an easy system to use because everybody has access to the browser. You can use the browser on the mobile phones or the desktop. The features that it supports is that it captures the IP address, so you can set up restrictions. Let's say, for example, you want your employees to only clock in and out from the office. You can set up an IP restriction. And the web is the most feature-rich in the sense that all the features are available to both the admins as well as the employees when you use the web account. The only downsides of using the web method to clock in and out is that we don't have a photo capture feature and we don't have the location capture feature. It makes sense because the browser does not support the photo capture and the location capture. It does support it, but there are way too many ways to bypass these features, and this leads to a lot of false data on your account. So that's the reason we don't have these features on the using the web. Who is this ideal for? It works really well if your employees are working behind a desk and you would like to give them access to their web account and also restrict it to your IP address so that they can only clock in and out from your office. The other group of people that it works really well for is for remote employees. If you have no issues with not having the location and the photo, then remote employees can clock in and out from any location, and you will get your work duration for your payroll, work duration and the break duration for your payroll. Let me very quickly show you how this feature works. I'm just going to go into my web account. And on the top, you will see a punch in button. You simply click punch in to clock in, and you do the same thing again to clock out. And as soon as you punch in, you'll be able to see that the reports get updated in real time, meaning that you will be able to see which IP address your users are clocking in and out from. So to clock out, I simply click on punch out, and that's it, and I'm done. Let's go back into our slides and look at the next method to clock in and out from. And these are the mobile apps. We have the apps available for both for iOS and Android. It's available on the store. Both apps are updated to the latest versions and perform really well. To The mobile apps are the most feature-rich in terms of the options that you have. For example, you can do a location capture, you can do a geofencing, you can do a photo capture as well as IP restriction, simply because these devices give you access to all the internal hardware, and our apps use these hardware features to make all of these possible. The other advantage is it's designed like a diary. So every time employees clock in and out, they have a nice view to see their clock in, clock out information. And you can also see the check in, check out information. And we also have the projects and task tracking feature on the mobile apps. The downside of the mobile apps is that every user needs to download the mobile app and you need to have a working internet connection. We do not have an offline version. Privacy concerns are there with employees at times, but we do not capture the location if they are clocked out. It's only at the time of clock in, clock out that we capture the information. The last bit that I can think of is the GPS at times may be slow. Think of this situation where an employee is trying to clock in, clock out from the basement of their office. They will not have a GPS signal, so it takes a tad bit longer for the mobile phone to triangulate the GPS before it becomes available for the user to clock in and out. This method is ideal for customers that are working at the office or working outside. It works well for most use cases, and this is the most used method by our customers to clock in and out. Let me show you this feature on the mobile app. Let me show you this feature on the mobile app. So I'm going to open my ClockIt app and I'm already logged in. So all I do is click on the left menu and I can see that there's a punch in button right on top. I click on that and my account at the moment does not need me to capture a photo. All it does is capture the location. So I can just simply punch in. And once I'm done, I can see my diary view and it says that I have clocked in. You can also hear the notifications that are firing. These are the notifications that are sent to the managers and admins informing them that I have clocked in. Also, if I go back and check my ClockIt account, you will be able to see that there is a clock in from an iOS device. So that's how you would use the mobile app to clock in. And I think I can also show you if the location capture has been enabled, then you would be able to see that in this view. So here it is. I've clocked in from the mobile device and it also gives me the location that I've clocked in and out from. If I enable photo capture, then you would see the photos that are captured at the time of using the mobile app to clock in and out. Now let's get into our slides once again. Let's look at the next method to clock in and out, and this is the Kiosk app. The Kiosk app runs on iOS, on Android, and we have a desktop version of the Kiosk app as well. It's good for companies that would like to set up a single device which every employee uses, meaning that all employees go up to the kiosk, they clock in and out, tap on their name, and they're given a PIN to clock in and out, and it captures a photo. These are all optional features, and it allows the user to clock in and out. It helps to keep things very simple in the sense you just have one kiosk which is set up in your office entrance or the reception, and employees just click on their name, and the optional features are photo capture is optional, the location capture is optional, and we also have an optional feature where the employee needs to enter a PIN to clock in and out. The only downside that I can really think about with all this simplicity is that you need to enable IP address restriction, or you need to also enable the GPS restriction so that employees can only clock in and out from the office location. The last thing that you would want is employees trying to download the app from their homes to clock in and out using the kiosk. Who is this ideal for? I would say it's meant for smaller businesses that want to keep things very simple, and they have their employees always at their office and they just want to clock in clock in and clock out. Let me very quickly show you this on the kiosk, and I can see my name. So I've clocked in on the mobile device. I'm going to clock out using the kiosk. So all I do is open up, click on my name, click on punch out. It captures a photo because I've enabled it. I've also enabled the location, and it has clocked me out. I've not enabled PIN required for the clock in clock out, but if you have that need, then it would ask you for the PIN before you clock in and clock out. Again, if I jump into the web account, I should be able to see the kiosk showing up. So it says iOS kiosk, and it's clocked out at 12:56. Another big advantage that you have with the Kiosk app is that employees need not log in into a separate account. All the users that are created in your account would show up in the Kiosk app. So that helps keep things really simple. Let's jump back into our slides and look at the next method. So this is chat and the communication apps that you may be using. We work really well with Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Google Chat. Again, pros and cons. If you use any of these apps, we only allow you to clock in, clock out. We don't have any other options available inside the apps. Features like GPS capture, geofencing, photo capture is not available, simply because Slack, Microsoft Teams, Google Chat will not allow us to do those activities on the user's device. The integration works really well on the mobile apps, as well as if you're using the desktop apps, the communication apps. It works really well for remote teams, and it works really well if you are well integrated into these platforms and you would just like to add an app into your workspace to clock in and out. So let me show you how this works. I'm just going to open up my kiosk. Sorry, I'm going to open up my Slack, and all I do is I'm already integrated. So all I do is I say ClockIt and I say punch, and that's about it. It's punched me in. Again, you can hear all the notifications firing, informing my managers and my admins that I have clocked in and out. And you can see that over here, it says Slack now, clocked in and clocked out. If you use Microsoft Teams or Google Chat, the process is the exact same. You just need to integrate it once, and employees can clock in and out. Let's go back into our slides once again. So we are at the last method to clock in and out, the last but one, sorry. So we have desktop apps for Linux, Mac, and Windows. Now this app runs natively on your computer. There are additional features that are available. Employees can use the desktop app to clock in, clock out. This is the only app in the lineup of all the apps that we have that does desktop screen capture. There are a lot of privacy concerns about this, but let me elaborate this a little bit in detail. The screenshot capture happens only when a task is started on using the projects and task feature that we have. It really helps customers with generating invoices to their end customers with the work duration and the project durations, and you can back it up with screenshots. Additionally, the screenshot capture really helps to avoid idle time and downtime between employees when they just clock in and they're not working on any tasks. So you would get that information right inside your dashboards. And the other features that we support are, it does support photo capture, it does support IP restriction, but we do not do the GPS tracking, again, because it runs on the desktop and it's very easy to spoof the location when you're running a desktop app. Who is this meant for? It works really well for remote teams where you're looking to capture screenshot. It really helps with reducing idle time where employees just log in and they do not work actively on any task. And it really helps with custom invoicing where you can supply the proof of work when your employees are clocked in and working on a task. Now, to look at this app, this is how it looks. Again, I can simply punch in and punch out from the screen. So all I do is I click and it's punch me in. And it does show me a diary view showing me all my punch in, punch out. You can see the previous one, which was done using the kiosk. It shows up all that information on the screen. And additionally, I can do a screen grab by clicking on this icon. And I can even log my tasks saying demo call, and I would like to mark this billable, and this goes towards my, let's say, video tutorial, and I can just start the task as well. Now, as I am running the task, the screenshots are automated, so it would grab the screenshot and then send it to my admins against my account, or I can manually take a screenshot and have it sent to the backend as well, and this is how it would look. Let me show you the screenshots on the account. So once I'm go into my account, you can see that there is a desktop created and the IP address is captured. You can also go into my task tracker and you should be able to see the screenshots. It's not synced yet, but once it's done, you would be able to see all the screenshots which are captured when the task has been completed. So let me just try that. And sure enough, here are the screenshots of the of what I've been working on, as well as my desktop. Okay, so let's go back into the slides once again. And the last method that I would like to speak about is the biometric facial recognition, RFID, and fingerprint. Now, this is the device that I have. It's not connected, but this is the way it looks. We have several models in this lineup. This device supports facial recognition. It has a fingerprint scanner, and it has an RFID card reader. Once you connect this to your IT infrastructure, it supports both Wi-Fi as well as Ethernet. What happens is that every time employees clock in and out of the device, that data syncs to your ClockIt account. It's one of the most foolproof methods that we have, where body punching can be completely avoided with the fingerprint feature and the facial recognition feature. The good thing is that there's no dependency on any hardware like a desktop or a mobile phone. But the biggest con is that you would need to buy this from our online store. We ship it out to you. Your IT department would need to connect this up into your network. And there is a 10-minute configuration that needs to be done so that the ClockIt servers can read the data out of the devices. Again, the ideal customer for this method is going to be businesses with fixed locations. You can have one or multiple locations. ClockIt will sync the data across all the devices as you clock in, clock out. So these are the 6 methods in which you can clock in, clock out. You can pick any method. We sync the data across all the devices. And that's about it from my end. My name is Basil. I'm the founder with ClockIt, and we help companies do payroll in 5 minutes.